It's selfish to really have the business tied to yourself, right? What if you get in a car accident? What if, life is fragile, something happens? Now, who are my clients going to go to? I want to make sure that never happens to our clients, right? So we have to have a team. So if something happens to me, there's another advisor or two that can just jump in. They know the client by a first name basis and they know the financial plan and they can be there in the quick event of losing a loved one. We've hired more advisors. We hired more support team members, and we really empower them to kind of take the lead.
Welcome back to another episode of Do Business, Do Life. Have Triad member Jordan Flowers here with us today. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
Well, I've been counting down the days for this one. You know, Obviously every Triad member, what's fun is just as I get to know each of you, not just on the business side, but on the personal side, it's always fun for me because I love people, I love relationships. But you and your dad specifically and your team hold a special place in my heart because you were one of the first that came out, and I know SHP, the group out of Boston that I've worked with for a long time. You guys did a little field trip in the early days, and you were one of the few offices that I met kind of outside of Triad headquarters for the first time. And I flash back to that little moment in their conference room, their training room, and just I remember like seeing you and your dad kind of looking at each other. And your dad, I think he would say he was a little skeptical.
He's a hard sale. Yeah, he's
yeah,
a hard sale. Doesn't want to show it on his face.
He's been in this business a while. He's seen a lot of what I'd call false advertisement. And I remember just seeing kind of the light bulb come on and you guys saying, oh, wait, there's a different way than we've been doing this. And, that's been a few years back now. But what I love about that moment is you came in as a humble learner, not just you, your dad, your team. And it was just cool to see, hey, I think we have a belief here that there might be a different way to grow and scale a firm and empower a team. But to your testament, the work that I've seen you all put in over the last couple of years, you have been a true testament to implementers, to people that take ideas and not just talk about them, but actually do the hard work to put them into practice. So I'm really excited to showcase some of that today. But let's go back. What was your unfiltered view of like, hey, these guys want me to fly out to Boston. I'm in Chicago. Like what were you thinking on that trip out? What was your hope? What things did you see that just kind of stood out differently on how you could build your practice in the future?
Yeah, the whole Triad, do business, do life, the whole framework, it honestly resonated with me from day one. And I was kind of sold, but I kept a poker face. I didn't want to know that it looked like you guys were holding double aces there. And I wanted to make sure my team, though, they were bought in too, because the business is bigger than me. If they're going to work with a partner, they got to make sure that they're not working with always me directly, they're working with our team. So my goal there was the team bought into what I saw, and it just reinforced everything that I was hearing over the last few months. And the team bought in. And my dad, he had his guards up. He kind of thought, what is, typical sales pitch, and, Brad with his long hair and telling us about what we should be doing. But it made sense. It resonated. And nothing against my father, but we like to say to our clients, you don't know what you don't know. My father did not know there was a better way to do this business and to have a team. And now that we know these different things, we know how we can build a team. It's really been a beneficial not only to his life. I mean, today I dropped him off at the airport to go to Cabo. I think he's benefiting very much from this, but to our entire team. We have processes, we have a kind of a game plan, a vision. And that time in Boston, getting to know Michelle, SHP, the advisors, not only did they have the right vision and the right ideas, but they were just generally good people. Everyone at Triad is a good person, and it's kind of nice to align when you do business with people that you like to do business with. That's like the perfect combination. So everything was a 100 out of 100 in my book, and hence why we were Triad today.
Cool. I appreciate you sharing that. One of the things I love about podcasting is you can just be real. It's not like you've got a 5-minute TV segment that you've got to fit everything in. You can actually have a real conversation. And one of the things that I saw out there, you guys were incredibly successful before we ever met you. A lot of that though, and I've seen this be a common theme in finance, a lot of that was by just your sheer just willingness to grind it out. And what I think about when I first crossed paths with you guys, you had a very successful father that had been doing the business for a long time, brought his son into the business. Now we've got this kind of this next evolution of the business. And one of the common themes that I see, I'm 43 as we record this today. I got into the business when I was 26. And so I've seen, I was working with guys like your dad when he was probably like 40, 45, and I've just grown up in the business as a lot of these fathers and mothers have grown up. And now there's this next generation. And the struggle I often see is, well, dad's done it this way for 20, 30, 40 years. Son or daughter's coming in and they love the energy. They love the fact that, hey, you've grown up with the internet and computers and technology. So a lot of times I see the next generation incorporating a lot of those systems and processes into the practice. But there's always this struggle of like old way versus new way. And how do we mesh this together for a cohesive and happy business, where it's not, father pitted against son. What's been your journey in that? Because of all of the father sons I've seen, and not that you guys haven't had your struggles with that, but you guys have done that pretty seamlessly where your dad's, like you said, he's in Cabo right now. So he's allowing himself to let go as you really step in and run the practice. So what advice or thoughts would you give father sons, father daughters out there?
Well, one, it's never perfect, right? There's going to be challenges. I mean, you have a family dynamic, so you're going to have disagreements. But I think my father and I, we kind of have the same goal. We just want to get better. We want to be selfless, right? It's not about us. It's about the team and how can we benefit by making our decisions, not just for our own selfishness, but to kind of give back to our team and the business. And I think that's really helped us grow. Like we don't care about how much assets you brought in or how much we made this year. We to be frank, be honest, we could care less. Maybe we're bad business owners, but like we just want to help people. And I think when you serve people, you help people, that's your number one goal. The money does just follow. So I'll say my dad, old ways, change is never easy, and again, as a son, you got to be respectful. You want to make sure you make suggestions, but he built this baby, right? This has been decades in the making. Who am I to say, oh, this is the way we run it, right? Because again, I don't know everything either. But kind of just using our advantages. He has strengths in some areas that I will never have strengths in. He sees strengths in me that I can kind of take the lead in other areas, and then we divide and conquer. Like he has such an amazing taste for decoration and kind of little extra things. When I walk into a room, I don't even know there's orchids. And I guess there's orchids behind me. One of your producers like, oh, those like orchids, they're real. I'm like, yeah, I don't even notice them, right? So he has those details that I don't see, but I add an element that he doesn't see. And then we really complement each other in the business. So I think change is never easy. We got to, make sure that we're still, profitable to a degree, but we got to make sure that we just get better and better. And over the last few months and say year, he's really seen the change from the team, from our business, and I think he's feeling more and more comfortable. He's out of town, whether he's on, just helping out in just different charity events or vacationing. He's out of the office, I would say, 4 to 5 months a year now. Kind of semi-retired, loves what he does, but so he'll always have a little bit of a say in being in the business, but he's actually free to do more things. He's worked hard for decades. He deserves it. And I think he's actually letting go and able to do other ventures in his life that he probably wouldn't be able to do unless he did let go. So it's a win-win for myself, for him, and the business and our clients.
Hey, I will say Tom does have impeccable taste. I thought back to Scottsdale when I ran into him in the morning, and he was like out for his morning walk, getting his 10,000 steps, like in a nicer suit than I would wear, like to a wedding.
And a scarf probably, right?
Yes. Yeah. And no, I was, and we had a fun laugh there that morning, but he does have a great sense of taste. And I know you're right in the middle of redesigning, remodeling your office. I'm assuming your dad is very involved in that project.
And that is something that he has 100% ownership in, because I do not have taste when it comes to that. He's blowing out walls. He's doing a lot of the furniture and decorations. and he's the best person that I know that can do that. So it's kind of nice to just pass that to him, and I don't have a say, and I trust him 100%. And you'll see in a few months, it's going to be an amazing, epic office. So we're excited for that.
Ryan, one of our coaches, you must have sent him a video walking through kind of, it was pretty raw. The floors were ripped up, but as far as the space, you must have blown out a few walls because it's very wide open, looks great. So I can't wait to see the finished product.
You can do things the easy way or the hard way, but the hard way is going to get you the best results. That goes for business, that goes for construction, remodeling. So he blew out a lot of walls that we didn't need to blow out, but it'll be nice and when it's all said and done.
Nice. Well, let's get to, we were talking before we hit record here, and as I look, we've got really a case study. So we sit here recording early 2024, so April of 2024. But if I go back to 2022, which was really where you guys like dug in and started to, I'll just say, kind of rip apart the existing model. And I think it was very, it was a very common model that I saw when we first met you. And this is taking nothing away from your success, but it was a model built on Tom's personality and Jordan's personality, where you two kind of had to be present for revenue to be driven through the firm and for appointments to happen, clients to come on. But 2022, snapshot there, brought in about 20 million of total assets. You had 9 team members total. I believe that was also counting the 2 of you, and then 2 advisors, of which it was you and your dad. Fast forward, 2023, last year, 39.4 million of total assets, so just under doubling. Here's what's cool, though. You started to take a firm that was really built on you and your dad's personalities and ability to engage and build trust. And now you added another advisor that was not the 2 of you. 79% of that business came from you and your dad. 21% came from a new advisor. We kind of call them pods. And then this year, just a quick update, where are my notes here? 28 million year to date just through the first quarter. And I know you have a big goal of the century mark, 100 million of total assets and helping 100 plus families. So give me maybe the Cliff's notes. I know there was a lot involved, but if you said, hey, these are the inflection points, these were some things we changed to go from a business built completely on you and your dad to one where you started to expand the advisor team. And now you're, as of last year, 15 team members. And then what's the total today that exists?
Yeah, I think we have about 16, about to have 17 team members. But just to kind of go back, when Hearing Tried, when having to deconstructing our 2022 kind of framework, I thought about it's selfish to really have the business tied to yourself, right? What if you get in a car accident? What if, life is fragile, something happens? Now, who are my clients going to go to? They only have me, and it feels good, right? When all the clients go to you and you're helping the clients, but like from a client perspective, because I've had people come to me, my advisor retired. My advisor died. I have no one else to go to. And I feel like I want to make sure that never happens to our clients, right? So from a client's perspective and caring about your clients, number one, I'm like, we have to have a team. So if something happens to me, there's another advisor or 2 that can just jump in. They know the client by a first name basis and they know the financial plan and they can be there in the quick event of losing a loved one. So what we've been doing is in 2023, we've hired more advisors. We hired more support team members, and we really empowered them to kind of take the lead and to provide that extra support. And naturally for Tom and I, we're not doing as much business, individually, but the other advisors, they're bringing more assets in and the business continues to grow. And just kind of go a little bit sideways here, I believe I was very fortunate that I had the foundation to be where I am today. If my dad wasn't in this business, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at, right? Maybe I'd be in a different career, not as successful. But because of that foundation, I was able to grow and succeed. And I believe there's a lot of advisors, a lot of people out there, they maybe don't have that foundation, right? They only can work with the big box firms, or they just go where they can get an internship, where I had kind of an office, a team, clients that I could serve from day one. So if I can help other advisors that are kind of stuck, that they want to provide value, they want to help people, but they don't have that right framework to do so, and I can put them in our framework, not only are they going to have a better lives themselves, but they're going to provide more value to the clients they serve. So as we've adopted that mindset in 2024, we've also empowered our advisors. Hey, take this client over, help them. You can be quicker responsive than I could ever be. I have an
Mhm.
8-month-old at home. Okay. I'm not as able to be accessible 24/7 like I was 5 years ago, but I have a team of advisors that can be very quick to respond to the clients and fulfill their needs and help them out, in their financial matters. So taking that mindset and now having two advisors to having 5 to 6 people that are sitting down with clients in this first quarter, or now we're in second quarter, that's why we're able to do more business, but also I have less stress and the
Mm,
team is more empowered. And I think it's a win for the clients, it's a win for our team, and it's a win for me personally, just with the time.
yeah. Well, any idea, 2024 so far, so last year, 21% of that business came from advisors other than you and your dad. Any idea what that's pacing for in 2024?
I wish I had the statistic, but I will say hopefully 50% at the end of the year will not come from my father and I. I will say my father especially because he's, not officially, but kind of officially semi-retired.
Mhm.
Like he's out of town. Other people are taking the lead and taking ownership of the client relationships. And my end goal, I do know my vision. The goal is I don't want to be bringing any new assets. I want to serve my top clients, but like I want our team to bring in new assets, not me, that I can help support them in accomplishing the vision. But this year it'll be way more than 20%, I'll tell you that.
Awesome. Well, one of the things, and you mentioned it just a second ago, but we call it the advisor in charge model, which is kind of phase one. And it's unfortunately where most advisors start because like you're the only guy or girl there that's got to go knock on the doors, process the business, call the insurance company, call the custodian. Um, but as I've seen you all grow and evolve, you've started to build out and specialize even in the advisor role. Now you have what I would say more client-facing sales positions, where really that's relationship building is really what I think of as sales. And then you've got service, which is following through and making sure once you build the financial plan, you actually execute on it. And then you've got planning. How has the service team evolved as you've added new sales advisors to be able to like keep the people seeing clients and generating revenue across the table and not getting sucked into paperwork or all of the follow-up stuff that can oftentimes derail and slow down the revenue for a firm? How has that evolved as you guys have added advisors?
Yeah, we tried in Michael Hyatt's kind of framework. If you hate what you're doing every day, you probably aren't going to have happiness in your job and you won't be probably be good at it. So if you hate doing paperwork, which to be frank, most advisors do, right? They don't like doing paperwork. When you segment that, they gives you more free time to do what you love and to see more clients. So based on that service advisor taking over some of that paperwork, taking over some of those things that the sales advisor doesn't need to be involved in, the sales advisor then has more happiness that they just see clients and do what they love. The service advisor, hopefully they're loving whatever they're taking ownership on. They're doing more of what they love, and they don't have to have pressure or kind of be in a sales environment. They're just there to serve. It kind of is a win-win across all the team members. But I will say we all kind of play a role in service, right? Or maybe it's a role in the client experience because when the planning, the service, the sales, when everything goes smooth, the end result is an amazing client experience. And I'm sure we've been to different places. I just think off the top of my mind, Disney, right? It's a great experience. Like you're not talking about that restaurant, you're not talking about that ride, you're talking about the experience. But when you segment your office to have the service, the sales, on those advisors, the planning advisor, the experience is what the client benefits from at the end of the day.
I love it. I heard it asked or stated one time, what if procrastination was a source of wisdom? And to your point, I have met I think it's 0%. Maybe I've had an exception somewhere over the last 2 decades, but great salespeople, great relationship people are typically horrible paperwork people and horrible follow-through people. But great service advisors actually love that. They're like, just don't put the pressure on me of like having to ask somebody if they want to join the firm or not. But I'll tell you what, once they're here, I love to love on people. I love to take care of people. And so it almost you take the strengths, as we call it, the desire zone in Michael Hyatt's kind of framework. And it's like, okay, here's Jordan's desire zone. He loves people. He hates all the paperwork. Here's somebody that hates sales, but loves the follow-up and the relationship. And now you've got two people operating in Desire Zone. And now you've unlocked Jordan just to see people build relationships. And once they on board, hey, here you go. Talk to the advisor that's right here in the room. They'll take care of you. They'll make sure we hold up our side of the deal on the plan that we've built collectively together as a team. So it sounds simple when you just say it like that, but I know it's taken an iteration and getting there. Any key inflection points where you're like, if I was going to give an advisor, it's all the weight is on their shoulders, all the revenues on their shoulders, and they're looking to add advisors to the team. Like what points would you give them along the way to make that happen?
It seems so simple, but like it's so profound. I wish I knew this framework decades ago myself, personally. And if you're a younger advisor, to be frank, is you're gonna wear many hats, right? You're younger, you got to get going. You need revenue to support the service advisor. But as time progresses, and maybe you're gonna take a hit on profit, but if you hate doing something, take the hit on profit and pay someone to do it. Suck it up. It's not all about you. Think about that person that they love doing whatever that task is, and you just empowered someone with a job. Like you're giving back. There's more happiness in giving. Give them a job. Make sure that they take away that drudgery zone, that things that you don't have a desire for, so that you can focus on what you love. And then you actually have a passion every day when you get up. Like I'm so fortunate. And, I don't look forward to the weekends. Oh, it's Friday. No, I'm passionate on Monday through Sunday. And if you can do that as you build a business, kind of just keep on delegating the things that you don't really love to do, or maybe you're not the best at, that's going to give you the highest acceleration and growth. And then surround your people, and not just in doing a good task, but people that are good people that contribute to your culture. Because I think life is too short to be around people that, you don't enjoy being around. You want to be around people that are a good fit culturally, but also they can get the work done and do the things that maybe you don't want to do. So those two things working together is going to really accelerate those younger advisors or advisors even right now that maybe they want to make some adjustments. Think about those two things before you make that adjustment.
Yeah, I've seen a trend also in a lot of triad member firms that have truly embraced financial planning, all five worlds, as I know you all do, kind of the CFP standard plan. But what I've seen over the last 3, 4, or 5 years is somewhere between a third to 2/3 of annual revenue and new assets being driven by existing clients and referrals. And truly that high-end service model becomes a marketing funnel is what I've seen. You think about, I just had to call FedEx the other day. I was on hold at least 20 plus minutes just to try to get a package that was supposed to be shipped here to the right place. How frustrating is that experience? And I look at, unfortunately, a lot of financial advisor firms where the sales advisor is also the service advisor. Well, you're in appointments all day long. And now there's a bunch of emails sitting in your inbox when you finish the day. There's, 5 missed phone calls and voicemails. You're absolutely the worst service advisor in the world when you're doing both. And it's hurting that customer experience, and it's hurting all of that additional revenue that could be flowing from, wow, these guys just take care of me. Like I've got an answer within 5 minutes every time I talk to them. And so have you experienced some of that as you've built out that service team, just where the feedback you're getting from clients is just like, dude, this is next level. What's that look like? How's it worked in real life?
Yeah, I think clients don't even want to see me now. They just respond to other service advisors because they take care of them faster. They are more accurate. And guess what? It's not at 8 o'clock at night when I'm catching up. But also, you just mentioned who it hurts. It also hurts myself and my family because now after all days of appointments, I'm going home and catching up on emails, responding to clients at 8 p.m. And I did that for so many years. I had clients that even responded to me like at 10 p.m. Hey, don't respond till tomorrow. But they know me. Like, I just want to respond. But like, you can't do it all. You need to have a balance. And I think it benefits the clients. It benefits the service advisor because they have a relationship. They're taking ownership of that. They have a salary and a job. And it benefits me because I have more time to focus on the higher level tasks or people that I'm sitting down with. And I'm not burnt out the next day because I'm not working 14-hour days.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned client experience a little bit ago. And one of the things that's fun, and maybe we'll even throw some of your fun video spoofs, your trailers on the show notes page. But I think the first time I met you, it was within like a week or two. There was a Star Wars video that I saw with you and your dad featured in it, and a lot of your team. There was Lion King. You've done a spoof on dodgeball, aka pickleball, and built that around the client experience. Um, Indiana Jones. And so let's talk about just having fun, not taking yourself too seriously. I mean, you were literally like dressed up in full like I think you were Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars
Yeah.
video, but you guys just have a good time, and I think because of that, I see your clients having a good time with you, and you're just engaging on a really personal level. How has that impacted your business? What thoughts do you have on the importance of that?
I think we're all people at the end of the day. We're humans, right? Usually I'm in a suit when I see clients, and they see me in a tie and suit, but at the end of the day, like we're just people. And you have to laugh at yourself. You have to make fun of yourself. And if people watch that, man, they're gonna laugh at me. And I'm okay with that because, you got to enjoy life. You got to make fun of yourself. And doing that kind of things, I think just helps our clients know that we're just humans like you. We just like to have fun. But we also want to have fun with you. So we do those videos not so I'm going to be an actor in the future, but so that we can do fun events. Like we rent out movie theaters. We play these videos. Instead of the previews for 15 minutes, you see a 5-minute video of us that just we're having fun. We interlay some financial subjects inside of our little comedy there. But it's a great way to just break the ice, so to speak, have a nice entertainment, laugh at each other, laugh together. And it's about experiences, right? Those things I think separate us. What's a financial advisor do? Oh, we just stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, investments. That's great, but what else do they do? Do they do, wine and wisdoms? Do they do golf events? Do they do these other kind of fun videos and take you out golf? All these things go together to create that client experience. It's not one single thing. But I love, making fun of ourselves, doing these videos. The dodgeball slash pickleball. I mean, pickleball's huge right now. Like we're doing
Yeah.
pickleball events more and more. And I love playing it. My clients love playing it. Like it's just it's good to do life and have fun with people.
Give me some details on the pickleball. How do you, because that is huge. I feel like it's got to be the fastest growing sport in America right now. And I know especially in the older demographic, just because it's, you can play it at an older age. How do you pull these things off? How do you organize them? What's your thought process?
Yeah, so I don't know how to do it. So I just ask the gyms and I say, hey, what's the best way to organize this? And they say, hey, we have professionals. They'll come in, they'll do some tutorials, they'll organize a little mini tournament. We'll cater in the food. You just give us the credit card and I just say, here you go. So that's what we kind of do. Then we just market it to our clients and tell them to bring a friend, have a fun time. It's a great way for the friend, or a potential prospect to get to know us on a not such a professional level in a suit and tie, but we're just real people having fun playing pickleball. The clients have a blast. I get to see the clients and seeing their competitive side. I mean, they're slamming that ball. They want to win. There might be some cheating, but I won't call a few of those people out. But like, it was a great time just to see people having fun outside the office. And then the day we're making memories, right? Life isn't just about making money. It's about making memories and doing that with clients. I mean, it's technically work, but it's the best work I could ever do. So it's fun.
That's cool. What other fun client events? You mentioned golf. Like if you said, hey, here's a list of some of my favorites of all time, what are some other fun ones?
Yeah, so this Monday, tax day, April 15th, I'm not sure when this episode will air, but April 15th, we're renting the Buffalo Grove Golf Dome. It's going to be kind of just, we have 100 plus people coming. It's the entire golf dome just to kind of do driving range, food, drinks, prizes. That's something we haven't done before, but we know a lot of our clients, they like golfing. So maybe they'll get a little warm up before the summertime in Chicago. I can't say that there's one specific event that I love more than the others. But what I do love going around if we have events is just kind of just walking around and just talking to people and just having a casual conversation, whether that's before or after a movie, whether that's during a dinner event we just did. We just did a travel theme around the world in September, kind of just did a fancy dinner, did some kind of dress up like your favorite travel destination and just walking around and talking to people and just seeing them smile. Like it's just fun to see people smile and having fun. You put 10 people that don't know each other at a table and the room's so loud because everyone's engaged, everyone's talking because we do business with people we want to do life with. The people that we have as clients are good people and they attract other good people. And it's funny how it's a small world. People come to these events. Oh, you're a client of theirs. You're a client of theirs. Like we didn't even know that when we did business, but I think it just you attract a certain type of people, and seeing those people have fun together and interacting, that's a pretty wow and aha moment for me that, hey, we're doing something right.
Yeah, I've found the most successful firms that I've worked with over the years, which is exactly what you're sharing right now. They create a sense of community and belonging with their clients. I mean, you think about it, there's a lot of common themes that you've already mentioned. Obviously, you're working with the retiree demographic. Now they've got time to play pickleball during the day. You know, they're retired. They've got time to golf and they've got time to travel. So you're building these experiences around some of their shared just wants and needs. And I heard it said once from an office I worked with a few years back, they said, you know, you did all the hard work to get to retirement. Now we're going to help you have fun now that you're here. And that you're basically, that's what you're doing. You're a conduit to creating a community where people, you're taking care of them on the financial side so you can create that freedom so that they can have some fun and make some memories. Let's go to more the blocking and tackling side, away from the fun stuff. So you have a tax practice that's incorporated into your firm. I believe your dad had that role in before you ever got there.
Yep.
Is that correct? Yep. And you've also done a lot around educational experiences. Obviously, there's dinner seminars. I know you've done your fair share of those as well, but you've also gone a little more down the path, I'd say, of the educational side where you're doing them at community centers, universities, things like that. How has the incorporating the tax practice, having that bolted on to the firm, aligned with also being able to do education around, I'm sure, a lot of tax stuff as well? Have you seen some synergy there, or how has that worked?
Well, I think tax planning is almost just as vital as investing, right? They really work hand in hand. I mean, you can't give a financial recommendation without a tax implication, right? So I believe, my father did years ago, it was wise to have the tax element combined with the financial planning. And I think clients, that's one thing, they're missing today, or not our clients, but prospects out there. They ask their financial advisor a tax question. 99 times out of 10 or 100, they say, oh, go talk to your CPA or accountant. And it's like, I'm not saying you should give them specific tax advice, but you should have enough knowledge to guide them. And then for our firm, if we need to go in the weeds, we get our EAs, CPAs, accountants, and they get the information to relay that to the client. So the client doesn't have to go to multiple places. They go to one location to get the leadership and the advice that they need to make a wise decision. And I believe with the Tax Jobs and Cuts Act expiring in 2 years, the next 2 years are so vital for so many people. And again, it's urgency. I hopefully you feel that in my voice. Like I'm just like people are putting their heads in the sand. I was on the Chicago News this last week talking about this. It's just insane that people aren't talking about taxes. They want to save for this year, but what if they get blindsided 5 or 10 years from now? Taxes are on sale right now. So we are just kind of preaching this to our clients, to the public, and having everything in-house has been I think a blessing for our clients in the experience. And we like to look at all the little details and then do tax planning in December, or November, October, a little bit before December, to make sure we make wise decisions before December 31st. And we have the tax return so we can kind of pivot and say, hey, based on last year, if everything's going to be the same, we want to do this, this, and this, and implement that for, tax loss harvesting, for Roth conversions, for other strategies before the year is over. And I think that's an added value for our clients. And that's what we really kind of have been focusing on the last few years, tax planning with the preparation.
If you were to give a rough estimate, Jordan, on just when you're doing public events, what percentage of those people in the room are coming in specifically because they say, hey, you said something about taxes that really hit home and we have done no work there and we want to get ahead of that? What percentage of people are coming in with that as one of the things they want to make sure they're covered on?
I would say 90%. And one thing I say in my educational classes is, I don't know you, but I know you. Because 90% of the people in that room have a lot of money in 401ks and IRAs. And even though it says their name on that statement, they see that dollar sign, that's not 100% theirs because they haven't paid the tax debt on that. So and then the light bulb goes, I see their eyes go up and they're like, wait, that's not mine? 100%? No. And they haven't got to RMD age. They haven't seen the tax implications of that. And now is a great time to do the planning. But 90%, I think that's what separates us. I've had probably, Over 50 clients say, hey, we came to you because you talk about taxes. No one's ever talked to me about taxes. And it baffles my mind that no one has done that. But like, yes, we do taxes because that's so vital right now. It's not what you make, it's what you get to keep. And people need to do wise things now while taxes are on sale.
And I would assume the higher net worth individuals that your firm works with, it's even, I mean, taxes are even a bigger deal to them. Is that fair as far as the investable assets? The more assets, the more taxes are a hot button.
Oh, yes. And it can literally cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, if they don't do wise things now. But also, let's think about most people that I deal with, if they want to leave something to their children, the next generation. And if you don't fix this tax issue now, you're leaving a tax time bomb to your children, right? Because they have to pay all those taxes in those traditional IRAs or 401ks. And it's like, if you love your family, we got to do tax planning now before the next generation is stuck with a huge tax bill. And this is something that we feel like the high net worth, they understand that. But even if you don't have a super high net worth, you can still save tens of thousands of dollars by doing good tax planning.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the educational events. You've done plenty of reps there. What are some things you've learned along the way as far as do's and don'ts? Like, hey, I did this, it bombed. Hey, we changed, we tweaked it, we did this, it worked. What tips would you give there?
Before you walk into the room, the community center, the college, you're not there to sell. That's why I know a lot of advisors watch these podcasts, right? This Do Business, Do Life podcast. Don't have the mentality to sell. Have the mentality to serve. You're there to help. They're there for education. Okay. You need to provide the best education, give your best stuff, give them actionable things that they can do without you, right? You're there to help them. And if you had that mentality and you bring that energy and you show them how much they could do on their own or you could do to help them, that is the number one thing. Because that mindset, I think, just carries forward to whatever, you're talking about for education, whether it be Social Security, taxes, investments, retirement income planning. Serve them, educate them. And I just like to make sure that you engage them too. Because sometimes we have a PowerPoint, but sometimes there's a group and they have all these different concerns. Be flexible. They're concerned about this and that. Sometimes I give a presentation just on a whiteboard. I throw the PowerPoint away. Make sure that you don't have your agenda set. Curtail the class to their agenda, right? Because it's about them. It's not about you. And when you have that mindset that you want to serve, and if you have that flexibility that you'll talk about whatever they want to talk about, that's how you're going to reach what they really care about. You're going to reach their heart. You're going to help them give guidance and leadership. And naturally, I'll just say over time, they probably want to see you. They probably want your help. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of them do. But you got to serve them at the class. You got to tailor to the class to their needs. And by doing those two things, you're going to provide the most value. And what I've learned in life over time is you provide value, the money follows.
Yeah. Okay. I want to shift because one of the things that I've also seen is just how much of a student you are, Jordan. Tom as well, but I don't know that there's too many coaching sessions, whether it's one-on-one or for the whole Triad community, that you're not on. I mean, you're literally a staple on all of those. You're a student, but you're not just a student there absorbing it. You're actually taking it and you're like, okay, we're going to run with this and put this into action. One of those, I've already heard a couple what I'd call sound bites just in how you phrase things. And I'm sure how you get them to resonate with whether prospects or clients. I pulled up your mission brief right now that I know when we walk through that with you, kind of the analogy we make is it's kind of extracting the unique DNA of your firm and trying to get it in a way where it's not just Tom and Jordan at the front of a seminar or an educational event, but your whole team can speak this shared language. And so there's a few on here I just want to hit on for the audience. And then I'd love to hear you riff on how you actually put these into action and the impact it's made inside of the firm. So the first one, who we are, what we're known for is helping our clients live a life beyond what they thought possible. Why our work matters. The true outcome of our work is a maximized life with minimized stress. Your what we do, so your proprietary process, safe and secure retirement roadmap with the 5 worlds built on the CFP standard. Feel free to pick any of those or throw a different one out if you want to go a different direction. But how has that played out as you've started to intentionally say, here's what we're about, here's why you would work with us. Here's what we do.
Yeah, it all goes to the why, right? Why are we in this profession? The why should not be to get a paycheck. The why should not be to make money. The why should be what value are we giving to our clients, right? And that first one, helping our clients live a life beyond what they thought possible. Just this last week, I had people, I don't know if I can retire, and it's like I showed them not only can you retire, but you can retire without any kind of concerns, peace of mind, right? Minimize stress. You'll never run out of money. Oh, and on top of that, you can spend 20,000 a year on travel. And if you don't spend that on travel, I get upset with you. I nicely nudge you. You got to spend more money on yourselves because if your goal isn't to leave a large legacy, why don't you spend on yourselves? And sometimes you need that third party perspective. You need someone to give you the confidence, give you a plan, right? Not just words, but show you in writing how successful you have already become so that you can hopefully live a life beyond what you thought possible. You may be able to go on those dream trips. You may be able to go business class, right? Enjoy life. But until someone guides you or shows you, you may always be worried. I'll tell you, my grandparents, my grandfather was a postal worker. He was a Korean War vet, 9 gunshot wounds. Half of his face was blown up by a hand grenade. He could not handle stress, right? So they were very conservative in all their investments, okay? And they couldn't handle the market volatility. But because they saved so much, they didn't spend a lot of money, that they left a lot to the next generation. And we believe you want to maximize your life, like spend some of that money, enjoy money, but also not have that stress. So, seeing my grandparents, I wish they would have spent more money on themselves, but we should have showed them, hopefully, if I was a financial advisor back then, when I was, 7 or 8, I could have showed them how to not have any stress, but have enough money to enjoy life too. And I think they need to balance each other out because it's not about just growing assets. It's about living life, but also not having the stress that you'll never run out of money. So that's kind of what my thought process is going around that. I also believe I'm one of those making memories over making money. I might have said that a few times. Like life is about experiences. And you got to enjoy life. You got to enjoy each moment. Be where your feet are at. And I will say to Triads, I'm a little actually concerned for you, Brad, because your last Triad launch experience in Scottsdale, I don't know how you can beat it. And if you do, you will shock me because that was the best experience in my life. I think about it almost every week. But I want our clients also to have the experience with us that they kind of enjoy everything they do. They enjoy their life now and in retirement and through retirement as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm concerned as well because it was pretty awesome. And that's the tough part is trying to top the prior one. But I'll tell you what was cool about that one. And one of the themes I've seen in life, because I've unfortunately done too many conferences where I don't leave a stuffy hotel, ballroom where you're just kind of cooped up the whole time. And I see a lot of this in this conversation already is how you get out in the real world and create shared experiences for your community. We try to do that at Triad, but I mean, you and I were hiking up and down Camelback Mountain, which by the way is not an easy task, but we had, 60 minutes up of conversation, 60 minutes down, and just those shared experiences where you're doing something, maybe you're getting physical activity, but you're also building bonds and connections because it's kind of this, shared suffering may be too strong of a term because it wasn't like we were sprinting up that thing, but just
you weren't, but I was out of breath, my friend. I was suffering.
No, trust me, I was very out of breath. I think it was harder the second time than the first time, but yeah, it's really fun when you actually build a business with intention, like you said, to serve people, but to have fun doing it. Like life is too short to just be miserable in what you do. So what other ways have you all incorporated that or seen that play out as I feel like you've gotten even more intentional since I've known you about kind of building the business on your terms versus kind of the industry standard of like, let's go from 20 million of assets this year to 40 to 60 to 80 and just kind of being on that red line burnout trajectory.
Yeah, so like today we're recording this on a Friday. That's why I'm not in a suit and tie. But Fridays I don't take appointments. I work on the business. I try to focus on my family. So with a newborn, sometimes I'm just taking care of our newborn, Jaden in the Friday afternoons or Friday mornings. So really curtailing the business to, our life, not instead of just having the business run our life, I think is what we've kind of changed over the last few months or a year. So that's a big thing for me. Also, I want to make sure that it's not all about me, right? It's about my team. So, do business, do life goals. We have three do business goals and three do life goals for each of our team members. So each year, my job is to challenge them and support them to make sure that they actually do accomplish their business goals and their life goals. And honestly, it's just rewarding for me. Like, I didn't know you wanted to do that. I didn't know that, you want to do such and such with your family. But now, third party perspective, I can nicely nudge them to make sure they accomplish that throughout the year. But you got to hold people accountable. So every quarter we're checking in. Hey, did we get this? Did we do the date nights? Did we go on that family trip? What's going? Why not? Like, I don't know if I take off. You go on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy life. And that's been honestly super rewarding for me because there's so much more happiness in giving, whether you give to your clients, you give to your team members, you give to your family, whether that be money or time, like that fulfills you more than anything else.
Well, and also, like you think about the culture you've created for your clients externally. Now you're creating this incredible culture internally for your team, because I'm going to guess if the guy running the show is asking them, hey, what are your business goals this year? Oh, what do you want to do in life? Hey, you haven't taken that family vacation yet? What's up? You need to take a couple weeks. Go get it. Like, that's the sort of team I want to be around. And I'm assuming that started to attract some other great talent in as that kind of culture starts to permeate among the team. Is that fair? Have you seen that start to bring in any talent yet?
100%. And I'll say that I probably repelled talent a few years back because I was so rigid. We got to get the
Mm,
job done. We work 50 hours a week. It's like, that's, you get wiser with age and you realize, yeah, I do a good job and do business well, but you also have to balance your life side and you got to have best of both. And I think the people we have now, like they have flexibility. Some work from home a few days a week. Hey, you coach soccer practice, you can go home early on a few days a week. Like, but I also know you'll get the job done. And our clients are impressed by the service. And I love that they can have the flexibility and freedom to do what they need to do when they need to do that. And I think that attracts talent and retains talent. And hopefully we'll have, because I want every person in our firm to be here till they retire. Like that's my end goal, right? It may not be perfect, but that's my end goal because I think I've only had one job in my life, Brad. I was raised in this industry. One job is helping my dad and being a financial advisor with him. And it's been a beautiful blessing, but not everyone has that fortunate circumstances. But if we create that foundation, that framework, I would love everyone to grow with us, to stay with us forever.
yeah. Well, as I just look at who we are, I just pulled it back up. What we're known for is helping our clients live a life beyond what they thought possible. It actually really applies to what you just shared with your team. What we're known for is helping our team live a life beyond what they thought is possible, because you're helping them level up on the business side. You're now applying that to the life side. Hey, you want to coach your kid's soccer game? We've built a firm where that's possible. You can win, as Michael Hyatt says, you can win at work and succeed at life. And I love that applies internally as much as it does externally. Has that been a purposeful thing, or it just kind of happened and evolved organically?
Well, I think it all became with the vision, right? Once you have a vision, it's clear what you want to accomplish. And for this year, right? We all have kind of business goals, but like I didn't set a metric for the team. We got to hit this quota. My metric, or our metric as a team is provide the best client experience.
Mm,
That's the one goal. And by having that goal met, I think the assets will follow, but we also want to build the right way, right? You don't want to be so stressed out that you're doing all this production, but you're running around like a chicken without a head and you can't like have that time just to take a deep breath. What are we really doing here? Are we so caught up in the weeds that we aren't talking about the families that we impacted? So
mm,
many times we have a spouse that they just passed away and they don't know what to do with their assets and they're stressed and they're worried. And I would say this last year, I probably had 4 clients, and they're all female, that their husband tragically died and they didn't have a game plan. One of them didn't have beneficiaries. We had to help them guide them through probate. Like these
mm.
things happen. And when you're there in that moment, I mean, that's what the client needs. I mean, not to say client specific, but over around Christmas time, we had one of our clients, their husband got in a car accident, got hit by a car. Now,
Mhm.
granted, you got to protect your family line, but I was on the phone almost 7 days a week with that spouse to make sure that she knew everything was taken care of. You need to be there when the clients need you, but you also have to balance out your business and your life as time progresses. But it's intentional now that we had the vision. I think I always was in my heart, but it wasn't kind of outwardly on paper, and now it is. And now we're very laser focused on what we want to accomplish and how we can get there day by day.
So if we go back, you said something, I'm going to just phrase it borrowing validation. Um, what we're known for, helping clients live life beyond what they thought possible. That's, as our mutual friend Chris Smith says, he says language creates, right? So you're creating this language that's now empowering. And you said a little while back, you said we want to challenge them and we want to support them. And I know one of the things we talk a lot about in the trad community is like advisors, like no offense, but those are a dime a dozen. There's thousands of them in the United States of America. But leaders, people that will speak truth and kind of challenge and support at the same time, that's a much different game, a higher level of game that you're playing there. So back to just like that client that unfortunately lost her husband, where you're there and you're like kind of speaking this belief into her that, hey, you'll get through this. We've got you. We're going to see you through this. How has that, I've seen you shift your mindset there a lot. um, how has that changed how you've shown up in appointments, in those tough moments like you just shared? What's been the before and after on that?
Yeah, I think I always believed it, but now I'm just being more like language creates. I'm being more kind of confident in expressing it that I know I can help so many people. I want to provide that leadership. And I don't care if you don't do business with me. I just want to help you. And I'm very direct with people and like, this is what can help you. You know, you can either take it or leave it, but this is how I know I can help you. And I think people respect that. The world today, I think is very, no one's taking ownership. Oh, kick the can down the road or oh, go to this guy, this tax advisor, this financial advisor. They're the ones that made the mistake. No, let's take ownership. Let's provide leadership and I think it's really helped clients have the peace of mind and know, hey, everything's okay. So I don't know if it's helped me directly, but I think it's helped clients have the peace of mind that this is the right decision because nobody wants to work with somebody that, you know, I think this mentioned and try, I'm going to go for a heart surgery and the doctor says, I think you'll be okay. They want confidence. They want to know they're going to be okay. They want to know they'll never run out of money. And I will say, you know, don't put this, you know, disclosures, put a bunch on the podcast, but I think I help people live longer. And the reason why I think I do that is because I provide more guaranteed income inside their plan. And statistics show the more guaranteed income you have, the longer you live. And then they're not stressed about the market collapsing and not going on vacation because they have guaranteed income. They could care less what the market does because they're just living their life and having fun. So giving people that peace of mind, giving people the confidence to keep on spending money and have the guaranteed income that'll last them a lifetime. I love what I do. I'm proud of what I do. And I think that confidence is evident in our conversations with clients. And I think that generates me a lot of referrals as well and our team a lot of referrals.
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate the disclosure. Shannon will too, by the way. So shout out to Shannon. Um, but I mean, factually, if you live with high amounts of stress in your life, it's shown that you don't live as long physically, you know, leads to heart attacks, all kinds of things. Um, but I think that is such a powerful thing because you see people that are multimillionaires living like they're broke. And if you create a financial plan that allows them to spend with confidence, that's a beautiful gift you can give somebody in life. I, I think I've shared this, but you know, my wife's grandma, lifelong Catholic, I mean, small town school teacher, probably made $25,000 a year for her entire life each year, you know, but she was frugal. She saved. And her one bucket list trip was to take a trip to the Vatican in Rome. And she died with $60,000 in the bank and never took the trip.
Hmm.
And that's sad to me. Like life is too short. If that's your one goal, your one bucket list item in life, like what a powerful seat to sit in as a financial advisor where you can grant that wish. You can speak that confidence and belief into them and challenge them. Hey, you're not dying with 60K in the bank. do you need me to hop on the website and help you book the trip to Rome? Like, let me know. But that's what I
I've
hear you
done that.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
you're almost doing that. Give me another, like, do you have another story like that where somebody was like scared and you're like, you know what? You've got the money. Let's do this. I want to challenge you.
Yeah, there was a client that wanted to go to Italy, and Lake Como, and they're like, I don't know if I can do it, all this. And like, again, I'm a big points guy. I don't know if you know this, Brad, but I love
Right.
everything on points. So I
Yeah.
give my clients a little point guide, right? So I'm like, hey, if you get this credit card, this credit card, this credit card, you can travel for free. So a few months later, they got the points. We helped them get to Italy for free, helped them go to Lake Como, Rome. I gave them some good advice and tips. And it's like, then the best reward for me is seeing the pictures of them over Lake Como in Italy.
Mhm.
Like that to me is so rewarding. Financially, did I make anything? No. But it was rewarding to see them do that and experience life the way it should be experienced because you need the support though too, right? You need to make sure the financial resources, but you got to challenge people to get out there and do things. And there's so many other little things I can't think off the top of my head that I just tell people, go on this trip, bucket list. I think we have to deconstruct how advisors ask questions. Many advisors are just talking about the investments. And when a client comes in or a prospect comes in, the prospect wants to give all their statements. I have this account, this account. And for me personally, in our team, just I don't even look down. I just look straight in the head and say, hey, we'll look at that later. What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? And it's a challenge because a lot of these people, they're so, head down in work that they haven't thought about their own lives. They
Yeah.
haven't thought about what they're going to do after they retire or how am I going to have fun now? And it kind of catches them off guard. They're like, what? Is a financial advisor? He's asking me about my goals, but how can I legit create a plan if I don't know their goals? Right? If you have a physical goal or you don't have a physical goal and you go to the doctor, I want to do this, like he's got to give you clear direction what you want to accomplish. If I don't know from their perspective what their goals are, I can't create a plan to help them accomplish that. And that I think is a little bit of a shift that I've made the last couple of years is I could care less about your numbers. I want to know about your goals. And then the numbers will help you empower you as a tool to accomplish your goals.
Yeah. I love that. There's a quote. I'm actually trying to pull it up here real quick. It's the Cheshire, is it the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland? Um, but it's basically just a second here. Something about basically Alice is asking for directions and he's like, well, where are you going? And she's like, well, I don't very much care. And then he's like, well, any path will do.
Yeah.
And that's so true in financial planning too. It's like, well, if you don't know where you're headed, it's gonna be really tough for me, regardless of how good of a financial planner I am, to get you there because there's no destination. So just as a vision works in business, it works in retirement planning too. Well, I know we're getting close here to the end so that you can get on to the rest of your Friday, which hopefully involves hanging with the fam. But anything else before we get to the final question? Anything on your side, just tips you'd give from your journey in finance, from your journey with your dad, just like, hey, this really made a big difference for me, or I view the world differently now than I did back then as a younger advisor.
Yeah, I'll say just a little brief story of my father, and he was a financial advisor for decades. I was at a funeral for one of his clients, and this is decades ago. And he said something to me that kind of really resonated. He said that people don't care about how much you know, Jordan, but people want to know that you care. And that really resonated with me because I think in this business, the root of everything you do should be caring for people. And when you care for people, you want to help them. And I believe any advisor listening to this or as I go about and talk to other people, you got to give more. Give of your money, give of your time. And when you give, you get back 10 times in return. And I think that a lot of the world is very selfish. Hey, how much can I get? How much can I make? Seeing those $2 million plus clients that, they haven't gone on that trip, they haven't done things, or seeing clients that have a Ferraris, but they're not happy. You got to make sure that what is life really about? Enjoy life, give freely, because there's more happiness in giving than receiving, and that I think is a big part of happiness. I think Arthur Brooks talks about lots of things, but giving to me is really gives me the biggest happiness in my life, and that's what I'll say to some of the listeners: just give freely and ask for nothing in return, and somehow it comes back full fold.
So true. I've seen that play out so many times. Well, my man, as you know, this is the Do Business, Do Life podcast, which we've talked all over that subject during this conversation. But if I was to ask Jordan, hey, what is your definition of do business, do life? What would you give me, man?
It's the triple win. It's the win for the clients and providing the most value and the best experience possible. It's a win for the team, giving them freedom to do things that they need to do with their families, but also grow with the business. And it's the third win is for myself to have the freedom of the most valuable resource we could ever have, time. Time to spend with the people that I love, to spend with my clients, to spend with my team. But the triple win, clients, your team, and your family.
Mm, a triad. You know we like those around here. So,
Yes.
well, hey, my man, as always, I love our conversations and look forward to the next time we actually get to hang in person because we always have a good time when we do. So thanks for sharing the wisdom and thanks for hopping on the show.
And thanks for taking me to the Kansas City game when Taylor Swift was there for the first time. That was fun this last year.
Well, that was kind of at the beginning of that whole thing going down. So yeah, we were right there when the romance was blossoming between Travis and Taylor.
Great experience.
Which, fun fact, I've now watched the Eras tour about 3 different times with my 8-year-old daughter. So it actually, you know what? It's pretty impressive what she's created. Which the funny thing is, she's done exactly what you talked about. She said, until people know that I care about them, until my fans know that I care about them, they're not going to care about me and my music and what I'm putting out. So she used that to grow a lot of her brand and build the insane platform that she's got today. So it can work in finance and it can work for Taylor Swift, I guess, is the moral of that story.
I agree with that. Care about people and it comes back.
All right, my man. Till next time.